This is the second part of the presentation in which I'm helping my students understand and prepare for early grade sight reading tests in piano exams, particularly from grade 1 to grade 3, perhaps even up to grade 5. We've looked at a number of things and we're up to working at the skills of sight reading using an example. We've got an example and we've done a scan, search and study. At home we're taking more time than we get in the exam. We've checked out the key signature. We've found out what key it's in and we've played the scales, the arpeggios, broken chords, if possible the triads to orientate our ears and our fingers. What do we look for now? Now we can look for the time signature. Tells us about the rhythm of the piece. Work out how we're going to count in before we play. Also, we're going to work out where are the accented counts. And in the example we've put up here, the time signature is common time, 4/4. So obviously we'd count in 1, 2, 3, 4. And our accented counts would be 1, 2, 3 would be medium 4. We're also looking to see what the smallest subdivisions are. Are there any semiquavers? 1, 2, 3, or triplets? 1, 2, 3. In this early grade 3 example there aren't. It's just moving in quarter notes, crotchets, minims, which are half notes, and semibreves. So the rhythm is not too complicated. Everything is going to be on a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4, or it's going to be a hold on one of those. In sight reading, particularly above this grade 3, look out for dotted rhythms. Things like 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and these are things that often trip up young students. They come to the dotted rhythms without being very secure of having learnt them perhaps outside the piano lesson. Have a look through the rhythms of your example. See if there's any rhythms you don't understand. You can't straight away see how that goes that aren't new. If you find any ones that you don't get, try to work them out with counting. If you'd like, work them out in your head, or you could write them out, which is a very good idea, using note heads and stems. Write them out on a piece of paper. You can even write the counting in. Work out how that goes. If there's a number of those rhythms, I'd make a list and take them to your teacher. Ask your teacher to check that your working out is correct. And also, teacher might be able to give you some sort of ways of drilling or some words that will help you, like semi-trailer, or chocolate for triplet. So, you've worked out the rhythm or you've studied the rhythm. It's good to test the rhythm. You can clap and count the rhythm. So here, if I clap and count the left hand, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Etc. I could clap and count the right hand, and what I could do to get hands together, apart from clapping on my head, would be to tap right hand here, left hand here. So this one would go, I'll count in one bar, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could do it on my legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, etc. Oh, that hurts. Doesn't really. There's also another thing you can do using this idea, using your fingers. Listen carefully to this. I'm going to actually play what I think the fingers are and the hands, and we should be able to hear if the rhythm's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear that? That's a sort of intermediate stage, starts to give us the feel of that. Okay, we've looked at the key signature. We know what key we're in, scales, arpeggios. We've looked at the rhythm. We're pretty confident about the rhythm. Now we should do a really close scan of the whole thing, of the notes in particular. Particularly looking in the early stages, are things moving by step or by skip? Be aware of if it's a line note going to a line note, which is a skip, a line note going to a space note, or a space note going to a line note up, space note going to a line note down. Look for your lines and spaces and take time to look at that. The other thing you might find is some of these things might outline a chord. You might have a melody that starts to outline a chord. Not so much in this example. I suppose the beginning 2 notes in the left. Actually, with the right hand, it outlines that E minor train. Sometimes examples outline a scale, so you want to look and see, is there a fragment of a scale in that? Also look at the overall outline and shape of the melody and the accompaniment. Is one moving by step, one by skip? Have they got a particular shape that's going up and down? The other thing is a very good idea is if I give myself the first note, B, can I sing and read the right hand? Here it'd be easy. B, 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 E, A, B, E, A, B, E. Not sure what word that spells, but that's what it was there. A lot of repeated notes there. That's also another advanced little test. You should also search for hand positions. Where are the hand positions on the keyboard and what's the best starting finger? In this one, some examples actually write some fingering in, but don't expect that. I would not expect there to be fingering written in. In this one, you can sort of work out that in the right hand, it's a position where E is in the fifth finger on the top, going down, all those notes. In the left hand, we can see that we're going from G's, F sharps, E's, D sharps, D natural, C, down to B. But probably a position here with E on the third finger on E is a good one. Also, when you're working out hand positions, do be aware of where the black notes are, having your fingers over the black notes. Also look for do the hands change position somewhere. Usually grade 1 they definitely won't. Grade 3 they do. In this one it changes position towards the end and also halfway through, but they're not really big changes of position. But it's good to work that out. Here's my hand position that's going to get me through the first 4 lines. Slight change in the left hand to get me the next 2 bars, and bars 7 and 8, the last 2, I've really got to move to here. It's good if you can find that. Also look for repeated patterns. Often you'll have patterns that repeat, rhythmic patterns or melodic patterns. So as much as you can notice of the actual structure, melodic and rhythmic structure of the thing is quite important. This could take you a while at home. It could take 2 to 3 minutes. It's certainly time well spent. Once you've done all that, and only once you've done all that, my suggestion is then you play it at the piano. And here are my tips for playing it at the piano. Count in at least 1 bar, maybe even 2 bars would be a good idea. Count at home, count aloud, use your voice. In the exam, of course, you count in your head. When you're doing the first time through the test, go slightly slower than you think you need to. Have a safety zone. Another important thing is to do with your eyes. You need your eyes to be moving forward the whole time, and you need to have big eyes that can take in lots of information. You're trying to move your eyes forward and get a whole clump of information, half a bar or sometimes a bar at once. Don't read 1 note at a time. Try to read more than 1 note at a time. Some teachers like to do this little trick. They put a piece of paper there, and as you're playing, they're pushing your eyes on by sliding it across. That can be quite good if you're the person who really finds it hard to keep pushing your eyes on. When you're doing that, you might make a mistake. It doesn't matter. You just have to sort of keep going in your practice because you're practicing the skill of eyes moving forward. If you watch the eyes of a good sight reader, it can be quite interesting. If I was a good sight reader and practicing something complicated and you were standing there, you might see my eyes are looking at this bar, but I'm actually playing that bar. My eyes are looking at this bar, but I'm actually playing that one. They're actually reading the information quite a lot ahead. If the example is quite tricky for you, try it hands separately and then hands together. What you want to is to feel, you want to feel confident with it. And build up your confidence from an easy beginning. The other idea you can do is to practice to play the last 2 bars, and then the last 4 bars, the last 6 bars, and then the entire 8 bars if it's 8 bars. That can really build up your confidence. So, if it's not perfect first time, and you think you can do it better, think about some of those things. Also, I'd suggest when you're practicing at home, play it through a number of times. so that it gets better each time. In the exam, remember, you only get one go, and then the examiner will take that sight reading away and put it for the next person. But at home, you can do it as many times as you like. Perhaps 2 or 3 would be enough, as long as it's getting better. If you're having problems, check what your eyes are doing. They don't want to be going up and down all the time or not looking ahead. Check your ways of looking. First way of looking mainly, eyes taking in information from the music. That's why it's called sight reading. Don't do lots of fast looking up and down. Read the notes and rhythms in clumps. You might need to read the left hand before the right hand, particularly if you're left-handed. So you might be scooping up left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, so that left hand doesn't get forgotten. Also, in general, practice feeling your way around the keyboard. Some people would suggest this, a silent, where I can feel, I'm not looking at my fingers, not this, but this. Oh, there's a D natural, can I feel that? Oh, I'm feeling it by finding the D sharp and sliding off the side. To practice, you feel like that. So, scan, search and study is what you need to do before you play at home. Check the key signature, work that out. Check the time signature, work that out. And then do a detailed scan looking at all those sorts of things. When you're playing, count in, eyes, and we'll find out a way that builds confidence for you so you get more confident each time.